Hello and welcome to Revueo, the heavily opinionated movie review show.
I'm Anne.
I'm Cal.
And I'm Paddy. Every week we review a new cinema release and we also look back on a classic film available on DVD.
This week we're looking at Tim Burton's new version of Alice in Wonderland and Die Hard.
So we went to see Alice in Wonderland in the cinema quite recently, and we thought it was better than the first one.
No, we didn't. No, we really didn't. We can't try and pull that one off.
I think we should specify now by saying first one, this is a semi-sequel.
Yes.
A sequel of sorts.
Yeah. The first one was the 1951 cartoon version, which I'm sure everyone has seen in their childhood, or at least seen the TV series, which was made. That was the original one based on the book, I believe.
One issue I personally had with the film is the fact that throughout the entire thing, there was either a complete lack of direction of where anything was going, or when some kind of direction was established, it seemed to happen for no particular reason. So at the very start, they're all saying, "Oh, you know, is this Alice?" Because when she originally falls back down the rabbit hole again, she arrives in there. She meets all the characters that you may recognise from the cartoon, and they're all saying, you know, "Are you Alice? Are you Alice?" And then they start, you know, throwing these kind of quests upon her, and she doesn't really know what to do, and then just kind of out of nowhere, this kind of jumbled sense of direction comes out, and
I personally didn't really like the lead actress of the film. Alice was played by Mia Wasikowska.
That's good enough.
I'm sorry, it's a really tricky one.
Enough,
I think it's Polish or something like that.
I liked her.
I thought Ada was good as well, actually. I quite liked her.
She was so wooden and so horrific to watch. I was actually cringing every line of dialogue she delivered. I just could not get my head around it. I didn't.
But Alice is supposed to be kind of unreactionary in a way, because everything she sees, because she has this kind of strange mind, is not weird to her. It's kind of like at some point she says, "Oh, curious and curious." It's curious. She wants to know what this all like. She wants to investigate. She's not scared by it or kind of troubled by it, and so she never has this strong reaction to anything, which is her character, which I think is what came off in the performance.
Maybe it's just I couldn't relate to that in any way, shape, or form, because I wasn't into Alice in Wonderland really, so I didn't have the full knowledge. I went in as a first-time viewer without a backstory of the film, which is I think that this film's biggest letdown is that it's reliant on people already knowing the story, people already relating to the characters, which I didn't do. So this film is not aimed at me at all. I went in there with the idea of it being really, really bright and vibrant and energetic, and it just wasn't.
I think there's maybe one of the issues you have with the wooden character is the fact that it's kind of going from what Ant said, is that she's not only does she want to know more about it, but she also thinks that it's a dream, and so she's not necessarily kind of not responding to it and being a bad actress, and the fact that she's not kind of showing any emotion is the fact that she doesn't care as much as she would, because she doesn't think it's really happening, and so she's just kind of letting these things pass her by more because she doesn't think there's any consequences to it.
I don't know about you, but in my dreams, cool stuff happens. Not like
There's some
flowers
cool
like
stuff.
talking to you and stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I would respond to that in a cool way. I'm like, "Oh my god, you're a talking flower, let's be friends," that kind of thing.
But she wants to wake
I
up
got
from
some
this
friends
dream.
today.
I got you too, sort of.
Yeah, in a way. One of the problems
I'm just losing my mind.
One of the problems I have is that this Tim Burton style is now a kind of paint by numbers thing. It's just you just put spirals and black and whites and kind of little bits of colour in, and it's Tim Burton-esque.
It's supposed to be trippy, isn't it?
It's not. He's not Tim Burton anymore. He is what everyone wants him to be, and so he's just pasting his style onto, like he did it for Planet of the Apes, he did it for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're just making remakes, and he's pasting his style onto all these films, and then people are lapping it up because they're like, "Oh, Tim Burton, I like Tim Burton."
And it's not working anymore.
No. And the problem was this film was kind of like a horrible, exquisite corpse of every different thing that all these other actors have been. Like Johnny Depp, there was a little bit of his character from Hell. There was a little bit of Jack Sparrow in there. There's a bit where he's running and he's doing all this thing like that. And then
there's a little bit of J.M. Barrie from Finding Neverland.
There's a little bit of Edward Scissorhands in it when he kind of has the more sensitive moments. And even kind of the music by Danny Elfman. There was hints of the score from Edward Scissorhands, and there was hints of Spider-Man in it, and there was hints of kind of Charlie and the Chocolate. Yes.
His most famous piece.
But yeah, it was just kind of everyone, it seemed like on this thing, just phoned it in. It was like, well, I'll do a little bit of this, I'll do a little bit of that, and I'll put it all together, and I'll just put like, and that's the film. There you go.
Ratings.
Yeah, I think it's about time to give some dire ratings. Go on, I'll let you
I
start
go
off.
first. I will be giving this a 2 primarily because they've just taken Alice in Wonderland and they've tried to they've got all the characters, but they've got none of the spirit. Like all the other versions of Alice in Wonderland are basically a series of events where she's like, oh, here's the caterpillar, and then she meets someone new, here's Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and this, they've tried to put this plot in that doesn't work, and I think it's a horrible mess of a film, so 2.
Very good review there. I think I will give it a 2, pretty poor as well. I hated the lead actor and with a passion, just to lose the mind. I hated Johnny Depp and Tim Burton collaborating once more in a really, really poor film. I was bored. I wasn't entertained during the film at all. I hate the style. It's 2, if that.
I don't think we should knock it just because Timmy B and Johnny Depp are back together again.
I was expecting so much more from them, that's the thing. Yeah. I had high expectations of them and they didn't deliver. Paddy, over to your review.
I've been thinking about this quite a lot, and I've been kind of to-ing and fro-ing between giving it a shits McGee and a pretty poor, and my final kind of resolution in my mind is that last week I was talking about Percy Jackson and I gave it a pretty poor, and the only reason I didn't give it a shits McGee is because we're not the target audience. However, for Alice in Wonderland, we are the target audience. A lot of Tim Burton's fans are kind of film students, and people just like us, yeah. and I was just as disappointed, if not more disappointed, with Alice in Wonderland, and so he's failed big time on my part. So I'd give it a 1. I'd give it a shits McGee because
the first.
It was aimed at people like us, and I thought it was diabolical. So I'd give it a 1.
Okay, after that fairly poor unanimous rating from us, upcoming is our skit, which will be 10 times better than Alice in Wonderland. Enjoy.
Okay everyone, I've been brought in by the Disney Corporation because we've been having some complaints about your personalities, and some of you have been having multiple complaints about multiple personalities. Oh, Mr. Caterpillar, sorry, there's no smoking in here. Thank you. So to improve tourism in Wonderland, I think we're going to have to make a couple of changes.
Pass the butter, please. Butter!
Mr. Hatter, let's start with you. Have you thought about maybe not being mad?
Well, I've taken your advice on board, and I'll try my best to execute it in a timely and thorough manner.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Mr. Rabbit, please sit down. Should we take a short comfort break while I bring Mr. Rabbit up to speed? Who's for tea?
Hello and welcome back to Revueo. Hope you enjoyed that little Alice in Wonderland skit.
So yeah, we watched Die Hard from 1988, Bruce Willis's big break, his biggest film, his best role. Yeah. Alan Rickman's kind of first big role as Paddy.
His debut role.
His debut role, really?
Debut role.
Fantastic. Well played, Alan Rickman.
Like Gash films.
Yeah.
In theatre, which nobody cares about.
And
Gash films in theatre.
And theatre. There was an and in there. There was.
And yeah, it's like one of the most well-known and one of the most prolific action films there is, and generally good man film, isn't it?
Yeah. This film was directed by John McTiernan, who did Predator the year before, and he came back and did Die Hard with a Vengeance after Die Hard 2's pretty shit, which had Sammy Jackson in it, which are really, really good films. 3 really great action films. So he's got quite a good track record of doing good action flicks. Synopsis.
Okay. Die Hard stars badass BW as John McClane. He's on his way back to Los Angeles to see his estranged wife, where she's being at a party in Nakatomi Plaza. And while he's there, Alan Rickman, who plays Hans Gruber, is part of a kind of pseudo-terrorist group who take over the building and hold everyone hostage, and it's up to John McClane to save their day.
I think this is a film that can be watched repeatedly.
Yeah,
I enjoy it every time. I'm sure in my time as a human being on this planet, I've watched it at least sort of 10 times. Just because it's really, really nice, easy watch. And you're watching him kicking ass and taking names and stuff. And he's just a really, really hardcore guy.
It's one of those films where you see, as you get older, because I watched it as a kid, and then I watched it as a teenager, and I was watching it as an early 20-something.
Early 20-something.
As you go through, you see all these different levels. Yeah. So like as a child, I was like, and then as a teen, I was like, I see, kind of action, it's clever. And then watching it recently, I saw kind of a lot of the writing elements of it. Like there's a guy right at the beginning on the plane who says, oh, you know how you kind of get over jet lag and deep vein thrombosis is you make balls with your fists with your toes with the carpet when you land. Yeah. And because of that, that's the way they explain how John McClane doesn't get captured with the rest of the people, because he's in her office making fists with his toes. And that's also why he doesn't have shoes on, which factors in later in the film.
What we've not spoken to enough about is Alan Rickman, his amazing portrayal as Hans Gruber.
Severus Snape.
He's actually made for this film, I think.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
picked up in a theatre for at some point in the mid '80s for just being a fantastic actor, and he was made for this role, as was he made for Severus Snape, but not a caterpillar and Nelson.
Sadly not.
Which is a waste of Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Didn't they base a lot of the film on his American accent?
Yeah, I read that as well. Yeah.
There's a bit in the film where they've been talking on walkie-talkies, John McClane and Hans Gruber, and they become face to face. So John McClane has Hans Gruber in this compromising position, and Hans Gruber immediately takes on this facade of an American who's kind of escaped from the hostages and fools John McClane into thinking that he's escaped, and that's how they kind of meet for the first time.
Yes. It is pretty good stuff, and I mean, he's born to be a baddie, wasn't he? He's just one of those actors who's born to be a baddie. Apparently nowadays he says he doesn't want to play bad guys anymore because he's always playing bad guys and he's had enough of that, and
he
does
wants
it
to
so
do
well.
other
Stuff. Yeah, he's just too damn good. If I was him, I'd take the fact that people are always trying to cast him in these kind of bad guy roles as a compliment because he just plays evil so well, and he's just kind of a really great character in it.
My personal rating for Die Hard is 5 out of 5. I'm going to give it a Tits McGee. This film's absolutely badass, as is Badass BW, and John McClane is a fantastic character. Really great watch.
Paddy?
I'm going to give it a 4, a proper bow. It's a very high proper bow because it is a really great film. It's not up there with the all-time best action films, although it's getting pretty close. It's no Terminator 2, but it's pretty damn close, and so I'd give it a 4 out of 5, a proper bow, because it's a fantastic film. Some elements of it are slightly dated, a little bit cheesy. It's forgivable, and it's still a great film because of them. However, it's not the absolute best.
I will give it a 4 as well. It's a brilliant film, lots of action, it's a clever plot as well, but it reminds me of a simpler time when Bruce Willis had hair. And I don't always want to be reminded of how kind of horrible our lives are at the moment and how bald Bruce Willis is. So 4.
Okay, after that fairly high rating of Die Hard, we're going to show you a little skit of the movie and our impersonation of John McClane. Enjoy.
Knock, knock.
Hey Hollywood, John McClane, how's it going?
What do you want, Brian?
Oh, I saw you on the news. You were awesome. Nakatomi Plaza, man, all those hostages.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, how about that, Mr. Modest? Come on. Oh, we're going out to celebrate. You want to come?
Not tonight, Brian.
Oh, come on, Officer John McClane. You know you want to come. Come on, let's go.
I had a real rough night, man. I bust through some windows, I got into some fights, even lost my damn shoes.
Oh, forget about it, man. I'll buy you some new shoes. I'll buy you some loafers that you can kick ass in. Come on.
Just get out of here, Brian.
Oh, Johnny, you...
For crying out loud.
Hello and welcome back to Revueo. Hope you enjoyed that little John McClane skit. Thanks very much for watching. That is all for this week.
Next week, we're looking at Matt Damon's newest war film, Green Zone, and we're also taking a look back on Martin Scorsese's gangster masterpiece, Goodfellas.
If you want to contact us, please don't hesitate to send us an email to revueo@vueo.tv, and also check out our Facebook page. Really good.
Yeah, proper.
Just search Revueo on Facebook. We're there.
I'm there.
He's there.
Yeah, we're all here. And be sure to check out other great content at vueo.tv throughout the week.
Thanks very much for watching. See you next week.